All right, 1, 2. I forgot how it goes. Do it. You do it.
You have to do the
5.
3, 4, 3.
And then just right up the alley.
God, that was awful. Welcome to the Gore Club Podcast. I'm Steve Vessell.
I'm Deathmetal Dave.
I'm Ace.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the movie MaXXXine, which we don't really talk about current affairs all the time.
We're not even going to chit chat before we start. We're just going to dive right into it.
I don't give a shit.
I wanted to talk about the alien popcorn bucket.
I mean, we can talk about anything you want, Dave. You're on my sofa.
Is that a real thing? I saw somebody post about the alien popcorn bucket, and I thought it was like some AI art. Or something.
It's the alien head. It's very. It doesn't look convenient to eat popcorn out of.
I don't know. It looks like it holds enough for me.
Yeah, the internet just wants to know how they can fuck it.
It has a smaller mouth that comes out with butter.
That would be cool. Like if that's the dispenser.
Yeah.
So you're like
shoots
kissing
hot butter in your face.
Yeah. You're the Sigourney Weaver, and it's the Alien 3. Except you're like, okay.
You just you just pile the popcorn in your mouth, and then you pile the butter in. It's got like a little bladder, like a super soaker or something.
Oh no!
It's got to pump up the head,
like pump up the shoes.
Yeah,
God, I'm old.
Yeah. Anyways, we can talk about MaXXXine now. I was just curious.
Pump it.
Well, I mean,
we don't have to.
We don't have to talk about it. Goddamn, we just lost Bob Hope. Just kidding.
Bob Hope? No.
Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart. I thought he was dead already.
I mean, Bob Hope was.
He was old when I was a kid, and my parents would watch that show.
Oh my God!
Somebody finally got to him.
There was
Van Helsing.
He was old. Like, what did you bring up? He was in.
He was Papa Elf.
Yeah, an elf.
Elf.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was like 20 years ago, right?
Something like
Close.
that.
Yeah, that was like 18.
Jeez, man. He lived to like be almost 100. Like
He was
90.
94.
Yeah.
Man, that's too much. Just tap me out.
I want to be gone way before that.
These people that are like I'm 102 is just like fucking kill me.
Have you seen that video clip of the old lady that's like, it's like her 108th birthday, and this woman on the news is interviewing her. She's like, "Are you excited for your birthday party?" She's like, "No."
You say you're a little tired this morning, is that right?
I am tired.
You sound like a very busy lady. Yes. Are you excited for your party?
Not one bit.
Like, so what are you going to do today? I want to sleep.
I feel that. I'm already there. It's me every day. What are you going to do? Nothing.
You're a spry 30.
No, 40s. Yeah. You know. But Joe, watch anything good recently? Anything?
Man.
I watched MaXXXine.
You went to VHS Fest. We're going to do a whole episode on that.
I did VHS Fest too. We'll do a whole thing about that.
We'll do a whole thing. I watched Arcadia.
So that's the
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he's put out 2 new movies. That one and Long Legs.
I watched Long Legs.
I haven't seen that. So
I did the MaXXXine Long Legs double feature. Max Legs.
Max Legs.
I love that. Oh my God, they should have put that like Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
Heimer, whatever.
The double satanic panic feature.
That's awesome.
Arcadian was good though. It was because the original synopsis I've read, it was like review was like it's like A Quiet Place and Critters 2. And there's only one point in it that would be like Critters, but the creatures were cool looking. They were very interesting.
Oh my God.
I still don't know what the fuck they were. And they don't explain it either, which is great. They have theories, but
that's kind of cool, like Attack the Block in a way.
Yeah, and like Nicolas Cage, if he wasn't in the movie, it still would have been a good movie, but it still had that Nicolas Cage scene where he just goes crazy for some reason. And that made it even better.
Yeah, you got to have a cage rage scene.
You have to. It's in contractual.
Yeah.
Steve and I watched Dr. Giggles last night, which both of us had never seen before.
I never realized I had never seen it. And I own that motherfucker.
You never seen Dr.
Shut up.
They showed it on Joe Bob last week.
I don't watch it.
2 weeks ago.
I don't have time. I usually have to work or I'm doing Gore Club stuff. So yeah, actually, no. Last week was a live event for us. So yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
It was the week before last. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd been a while since I've seen it.
No, yeah.
Fucking Darkman's and arch nemesis.
Larry Drake. Yeah, Larry Drake. I've seen it one time. I barely remember anything about it.
Well, we've shown it at events, and I just, I'm too busy. I don't actually get to watch everything. But I realized, we were sitting down. She's dog sitting, and I'm like, yeah, I'll hang out with you for a little bit. And then we're like, I don't know if I've actually ever seen this movie, and it was fun. It was so fucking 90s. It's so perfect.
I always think of that
everybody.
one. That one and The Dentist, for some reason, would be the greatest
double feature.
It'd be a good double
Dentist.
feature.
It's
Yeah.
got the guy from LA Law.
Yeah, they're both goofy. And what's the baseball movies? Major League or whatever.
Yeah, Major League. Yeah,
Yeah.
Corbin Burnson.
Yeah, wasn't Larry Drake on LA Law too? Is there the double LA Law feature of the dentist and Dr. Giggles?
So for young children, those are old television shows that you'll never see.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. So anyways, Maxine, God, let's get out of here. Bye.
no.
Take us out of here, Dave. No.
Maxine was great.
Maxine, yeah. 3 stars, 3 X's. Good job.
Triple X.
Yeah.
How many X's?
3.
3.
Triple X.
There's only one. My favorite thing about this so far is the meme. It's like, this is a really confusing trilogy, and it's just like Triple X, X,
I've seen those.
Jason X,
X2.
Yeah.
Malcolm X.
My first note is like when researching this film, my algorithm went from, this is true by the way, Videodrome to an Amish Christmas music to Voluptuous Vixens 2. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because all these movies somehow are connected to, from Ty West and whatever. So, and different actresses and actresses. My algorithm got really wacky.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds like it.
Yeah. Dave's pulling out his phone real quick. He's like, Voluptuous
sec.
Vix. How do you spell that again?
What is that again, Steve? Nah, it's cool. I own it on 4K probably.
You probably do. It's got to be a full moon movie. I think that's what it is. We were going through Charles Band and the full moon channel on, I think, Tubi. Yeah. So it was great.
So Maxine, what do we need to know about this? If you've seen the movie X, that's what you need to know. Because if you haven't seen the movie X and you see this, it's going to be a little confusing.
I don't know.
You can still enjoy it.
I think that, I think he did it. Ty West, the director, I think he did a really good job by making it to where like old trilogies, you didn't have to see certain ones to enjoy. Where this one, I can enjoy, Cruel Jaws.
Yeah.
And not have seen Jaws 3D.
Well, I mean, when we went and saw it, a few of our friends were there that hadn't seen X.
Yeah, we showed up. Dave showed up with his whole entire band.
Yeah, and only one of them had seen X. The other one is just like, I've never seen it. But fuck it, let's go watch it.
Yeah.
And they still had a good time.
That was great. I think. And your drummer's wife was sitting next to me, and anytime something cool happened, I knew it was either like, I think it's cool, but it's something graphic. She's like, oh my,
Oh my.
oh my. Oh my, it was so adorable.
Like a little
Somebody's
Midwestern
throat's
lady.
getting slashed extremely deep, like Jello style, which is a movie. We'll get into all that. She's like, oh my.
Well, sometimes you have to react like that, Steve.
Oh, it was
Instead of
great.
screaming.
I fucking thought it
I was just
awesome.
audibly laughing through a lot of the movie where I was just like having such a good time. I was like, you crushed that dude's balls.
Yeah. Let's jump into this though. I mean, Ty West, obviously, I think that why I like this movie, and it's getting some weird. I haven't seen any meh ones. I've either said I don't like this movie or I love this movie. I've seen a lot of love, so that's good. But I mean, his influences are right there. He does not even try to hide any of it. And it's great.
Yeah, I feel like this is his Tarantino movie where it's like highly stylistic and borrowed a lot of stuff from movies that he liked also.
Yeah. And considering talking about Tarantino, like how that was one of my first thoughts was like he did like what Once Upon a Time in America. I mean, in Hollywood with a third of the budget, if that. Yeah. And it made it look great. It's total Skid Row, LA, late 70s, early, I guess it's supposed to be 1984 when this movie's supposed to be going on, 84, 85. So
I think this movie was shot in California at the very least.
yeah, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the landscape is there because it's there.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the opening of it was had like where's like whenever afterwards the way it opens sets it up the movie perfectly because it kind of starts the way Pearl ends because like she's doing the thing at the end of Pearl where it's like a very long monologue and then she gives a monologue at the beginning of this one and as a different character but and then it's like, okay, can you show us your breast real quick? And then it's like, give me all your loving. And I was like, oh yes, this is what I want.
Yeah, the soundtrack kicks
Soundtrack was
ass.
great. Like all the nostalgia kicks, like the Senate hearing with Dee Snider,
Yeah.
And Zappa.
things like that. It's
It just shows
They
like
tried to warn us.
I was glad that when they did it, they didn't when they do an 80s movie and they're like, remember the 80s E.T., everything was so warm and let's all hug.
Bullshit.
And it was so,
not what
it just shows like all the sleazy, scuzzy, like it's just like, it doesn't show it as a pop culture wonderland. It's like, no, the 80s were like serial killers and Ronald Reagan. Like,
Right. And that's what I thought was cool about it too, because
backstories.
it didn't shove it down your throat. Like that this is the 80s. It's not like Wonder Woman 1984, but like, hey, just in case you don't remember, it's 1984.
Yeah.
This one is just, you look at it.
Yeah. Women wore like telephone cords for hairnets or whatever, like, like whatever the fuck those are called. What are they called?
Headbands?
Yes. I don't have any of those. I don't have
Hairnets.
hair, nor do I have a headband. Shut up.
We were talking about hairnets earlier, Steve.
Yeah, we were.
We've come full circle.
Yeah, I told Dave he needs to get a hairnet when he paints his house.
Yeah. For my face.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I don't know.
What kind of hallucinogens have you all taken?
But you are right. Like they did a couple things that kind of nauseated me. Like the whole use of drugs, like over and over. I get it. Everybody's doing the not even the wacky tobacco. They're doing the summer snow.
oh yeah, they're just doing nose beers all day.
Yeah, I mean everybody in the movie.
You're
didn't
getting
matter who
keyed
it
up and
was.
fucking, man.
Right, keyed
Yeah.
up.
Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
Oh
Shit.
yeah.
So one of the things I love about the very beginning of MaXXXine is that it shows us kind of the off-screen character arc for MaXXXine. Because, you see her in X and she's kind of new to porn and this timid girl. But then the first scene we see her in MaXXXine is the audition scene where she walks out and is like, y'all can just fucking leave because I fucking nailed that.
Yeah.
Like, she is a strong, badass woman.
Yeah. I guess we don't need to go over the entire plot, but the beginning of the film is very important where she's at a casting session with like a table full of directors and producers, and they come off so professional, and they're like, show us your boobs.
Yeah.
At the very end. Because you're thinking like, what's she auditioning for? And it's like The Puritan Part 2.
Yeah.
Which is everybody involved is like, it's like Friday the 13th Part 5. It's like they're all porn directors and filmmakers and producers. They're just everyone's trying to make the leap to Hollywood.
Some trash movie that I definitely would have rented when I was a kid.
The Puritan? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, exploitation at its finest, which is we're going to talk about Roger Corman on our next episode. But yeah, he was part of the nunsploitation era, and that was big time in the 70s and 80s. So it was great. Jack Hill movies, come on.
Man. To go off like what Katie was talking about, the way they set that up too is, with the whole thing where she's like the guy dressed as Buster Keaton like is in the alleyway, and you're like, and he's just like pulls out the knife, and she's just like, fuck you, like just stomps that dude's balls. You're like, oh man, this is not the same MaXXXine from the last movie.
Yeah, because she's got a fucking kill count.
She just survived a fucking slaughterhouse and did a little better on her own.
Made this dude strip down and get on the ground. I was like, yes.
She's got several body counts at this point, as the millennials will say.
So I guess we should talk about like the loose plot of this film, which is her surviving that, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's like nobody can connect her, and she's made it to Hollywood her own way, and here we are.
Well, somebody knows. Kevin Bacon knows.
Kevin Bacon knows, and whoever is employing him, and maybe the killer.
Kevin Bacon was the sleaziest dude ever in this movie, and I loved it.
What's his name?
Labatt.
Yeah, that's right. He's like the PI.
He's got that Southern actor and those two gold teeth, like for a canine.
Oh, it's fucking great.
The way he's just
like the Mike Ness of a PI, private detectives.
He's just being a scumbag the whole time. Like, then like after he's wearing that bandage on his nose, which makes him look even scummier.
Yeah, people have been like equated that to like the Jack Nicholson nose thing from Chinatown. There's many little things in this movie as a film nerd, or just all that. It's fantastic, man.
Well, and Kevin Bacon talked about how much he loved this role in actually the new Fangoria with MaXXXine on the cover, which I do believe Stephen has right here for us.
What'd that cost you? $30?
Your mama. No, it's a reasonable $19.79.
Oh, great.
Which is pretty funny. Yeah, Fango is not cheap anymore, and this is actually a really good. It's beautiful. It has like the retro glam looking, like 17 movie, but or 17 magazine.
We're gonna see that look a lot for Halloween.
Oh God, it's so cheap. Everyone's gonna look hot, and you're gonna be able to carry a gun.
Oh yeah. You're just going to be green jackets and cool makeup.
This is a great issue, by the way. It's got Joe Bob Briggs is in this. So many different old editors came back to write for this issue. So if you got the new Fangoria or you haven't, you should pick it up. It's awesome.
Sponsor us, Fangoria.
Yeah, forget what I just said.
Like they give a fuck.
What a deal. Tell me more about Fangoria magazine.
Oh, man. You buy a print magazine or put one out. I can't imagine how expensive it is to get, especially this is like hard, like a thick paper. Anyways,
it's a nice cardstock on it.
It's worth $20.
Don't worry, it's bone.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Bateman.
What is
It's called Cillian Rail.
Oh my god, the cinematographer Elliot Rocket, he made everything to me look like a Fulci film. Like if you're watching the New York Ripper, everything's just like everything looks wet and you don't want to touch it, but you want to fuck it.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's kind of
don't look at me like that.
Remind me never to go sightseeing with you.
Like it kind of reminded me like they filmed like a music video where everything's just like cuts. Like
it's very
just going back and
very
forth.
Fulci.
And like,
it's very Gates of Hell.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that, which is the same reason I love Nightmare on Elm Street 4. It's like the MTV. It's like it's the MTV MaXXXine.
Yeah,
like
that was a complaint by old reviewers in the '80s about new filmmakers who coming from like the video era. Like, oh, it's MTV editing. It's like, yeah, and I look at us now. It's way past that.
Yeah, now it's like kids watching movies in 2 minutes on TikTok or something, and you're like, these kids.
Hey, TikTok invited us back after they kicked us off like months ago, which is really weird. Don't get me into it.
Don't do it.
Don't get me started on that shit. Yeah.
There's a lot of satanic panic going on in the movie.
Yeah, I like that they include like the whole Son of Sam. Well, Son of Sam is actually mentioned, but like Night Stalker.
Yeah,
and we as horror nerds and serial killer aficionados, some of us.
Yeah,
we know it's not Night Stalker, but the audience who's not the people involved in the film, they have no idea.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Well, especially the ladies of the night that are in this movie. So of course these girls are going to think like, oh shit, I got to watch out. The Night Stalker's out there, which he is, but so is this other killer.
Yeah, and he mainly focused on families more than anything. He was a piece of shit. If your door was unlocked, he was going to come in there. If the window was open, he was crawling in. It really, if it's by the highway, that's the way anybody who's into the Night Stalker would know that and knows his MO.
Yeah.
So when you watch the movie and they keep kind of beating you over the head with that, we're all kind of laughing because we know it's not him.
Yeah.
He doesn't brand people.
Yeah. That's and like really the way and like as you watch the movie, there's all the protesters you see in the background of the scenes when they're like protesting the movies and stuff, and like Satan, and like at one point in time you could look back at that and be like, man, we were so crazy back then. Could you believe people did this? And like now, as you watch it, you're like, man, time is a flat circle. Things never change. It's just it's like we're back into satanic panic again now.
Well, I mean, I think
it's all politics.
I think back to when Dogma came out, right? So
oh my god,
they had all the Catholics out there. They're
protesting and Kevin Smith comedy,
and then Kevin Smith went and protested with them.
Yeah, it's great.
There's still video of that on the internet where you can see where the news crew interviewed him.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's like, this movie's garbage. It was amazing,
and that was used like William Castle, that kind of stuff. They talked about they touched on that in like Matinee, where he hires like John Goodman as like the William Castle-esque guy, hires like Dick Miller and John Sayles to act like protesters, like this movie's awful, they're your children.
Yeah,
just to drum up sales and to drum up interest. So
I feel like people just do that now. It's the same thing now. Like when you get on like you get a recommended video of something on like Instagram and it's like, this rapper is a Satanist or something. I'm like, really? Wow, maybe I should check this out.
Oh, good for him.
I'm like, rappers are Satanists now.
But they're playing both sides of the coin of the political divide. It's bullshit and it's perfect. It's always been going on. It's never going to stop. They talk about it in The Boys. I mean, that's the whole fucking show and the whole comic book series. And it's, it's obviously, it's a real thing. It's never going to stop. Yay, government.
Hey, back to MaXXXine.
Yeah.
One thing I really like, Leon's character. He ran the video store.
He was my favorite character.
He was awesome.
I had to
Judas
go pee
Priest
when he
fan.
I had to walk out when he gets killed, and I came back and she's like, "Your favorite died." I was like, "Son of a bitch."
It was not good. Not good for him.
Leon, the video clerk.
It's good because when they're wheeling his body, or was it? I can't remember if it was him when they wheeled they wheeled somebody's body out and they're playing the Judas Priest song from Screaming for Vengeance.
Yeah, they wheel his body out, and then the police see MaXXXine, and they're just like, "Let me just show you your dead friend."
That was so weird.
Yeah.
Is this a scare tactic?
Are you going to help us now? Like they pull it up, and it's like all slow mo with the Judas Priest song, and I was like, oh man, I'm loving this. I was like, man, this movie's so good.
So let's talk about like what we're talking about. Like let's talk about the plot a little bit and up to this point. So what's happened? We are introduced to MaXXXine. She's at a casting call. She's moving on. She's trying to get from her. She's a stripper still, and she still does porn as well. And she goes into the factory. You know, we're talking about like the institutionalized of basically of women and how they can only get anywhere by selling their bodies. Yeah, that's how it feels like when I'm watching it. What do you think?
Yay!
Yeah. I mean, seriously, let's talk about that.
Well, she won't accept a life that she does not deserve, Steve.
I'm all about that.
It's pretty self-explanatory there. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Katie?
I mean, there are a lot of thoughts. I guess it's a very wide-ranging topic, but in terms of MaXXXine, like, yes, she's going from doing porn. I guess she's also a stripper too.
Yeah,
and she does like peep shows because we see her dance for what we assume is the killer.
Yeah. Leather-clad Jalo man.
Yeah,
that's called stripping.
Oh, fuck, I just put something together from that.
Are you really? Yeah. And I think it's going to be great on rewatches. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But she's trying to make the jump from porn to mainstream films, which is not easy. But also, they talk about like, oh, you know, now that you're in the real industry, like things are going to be so much tougher. I'm like, do you think porn is fucking easy? Like, no, it's not. Like she's plenty strong enough to handle Hollywood because she's built her own career from the ground up in pornography.
I mean, I get fucked every day at work. I don't make as much shit as.
Right.
But you do like,
but acting like you don't get exploited more in Hollywood as a female, that's a ridiculous that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you see her in the audition when, you know, she does this amazing monologue and she's crying and everyone's moved, and then they're like, hey, can you show us your boobs? Which is the reality of it, but also like you probably know what her boobs look like. They're out there.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Well, maybe they had a Betamax. They didn't have the VHS. We don't know. We don't know their financial situation.
Jamie Lee Curtis had a great. There's a great quote by Jamie Lee Curtis about her saying, like, I never had to feel exploited until I got out of exploitation movies. Because she's like, I didn't even have to get naked until I got in Trading Places, which is a mainstream comedy. And she's like, think about that. And I was like, go Jamie Lee, expose it, baby. Yeah, so there you go. Take that. Fuck you, Hollywood. Anyways, I love MaXXXine.
But if you love Hollywood, I think you are going to love MaXXXine because you get to see like the behind the scenes of Hollywood, which if you're a film lover, you're going to like.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a person who used to work for Whorehound Magazine and some of their events. Her name's Christy Jett. She helped get the popcorn Blu-ray notice, all that kind of stuff. She's behind the mask, trying to get the sequel made for that. But we still talk, and she talked about that a lot too.
Let's talk about Giancarlo Esposito. Gus. Yeah, you talk about scummy. He's like scummy on a different level.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, he's the manager.
Yeah.
Porn lawyer.
Takes care of things.
Right. God, he's been playing a lot of these kind of scumbag evil roles, and I love it.
He does it so well.
Yeah, he did.
He was like sort of a Jedi, I don't know, in that Star Wars show.
Yeah, he's like, what is it? What show is that? The
Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian, and then this movie, and then he did The Boys, where he's like, I'm not the president, but he's the president of the company.
Yeah.
That's in charge of them. It's like, wow, you're just a bad guy, bad guy. Shut up.
He's a good scumbag.
Hey, guess what? Steve can't talk again.
He's a good scumbag, but he's a really nice person.
I'll get in the corner. Well, yeah, he's awesome, though.
He's like a manager / hitman kind of in this movie.
He's a manager. That's what he is.
He
manages things. That's right.
Quote unquote.
He manages to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
If they get in his way.
To crush them, which we've seen Ty West do a time or two.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's got I think he might have a fetish.
We're talking about Ty West, yeah. The
this could be his feet. You know, the Tarantino feet thing. We don't know. If he makes another movie and there's a crushing scene in it.
It's like, oh, don't crush me, Ty West.
Well, tell us your thoughts on this, Dave. What are you talking about? Ty West crushes? What?
Oh, yeah. Well, two people get crushed in this movie. Ace had mentioned earlier the ball crushing scene.
Yay!
I mean, we could talk about that. I mean, she's almost getting robbed, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm helpless and defenseless."
It was a great play.
And pulls out her fucking gun.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, motherfucker, take off your clothes." Yeah, get on the gun.
She's like, call an ambulance, but not for me.
And that was a great scene because I didn't see it going this far. I thought she's just gonna leave him there, and just like she just fucking just crushes his balls.
Yeah.
I love that this is a portrayal of a woman who's been through trauma, but they don't try to turn her into like a superhero ninja, like secret agent kind of thing that you see.
Like I saw, like I Spit in Your Grave remakes.
Yeah.
Where she's always rape ninja.
Yeah. Like that.
Not a rape ninja, but anyways, God, I'm going to edit that out.
But no, you see her, she's dealing with the trauma of having murdered people, and it's obviously still affecting her. But instead of being like, oh, either I'm a damsel in distress or I'm this badass that just murders everything in my path, she's kind of this thing that we don't get to see very often, which is a woman that is taking her power back and using it to her delight, really. Because she's like, with this man that tries to rob her, she's like, okay, I'm going to have fun with this, actually.
Yeah.
And she makes him get naked and kind of torture, and then just crushes his balls, which I think, as a woman, it's very fun to watch.
As a man, I can tell you, I went like, oh.
Ooh, high heel right there.
All the men in the theater went, oh, and all the women clapped. I think I clapped too, though.
She doesn't need anything. She's got a pistol and stilettos.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
I
we
mean,
need.
it's a great, complicated, layered freaking character that we've watched in two other film, or technically one other film, but you know, as in this series. So it's amazing. I love that. I like watching her. She's like struggling. You're on her side. You're like, oh, that's a bit too much. Oh, I'm on your side again. Oh, that's a bit too much. But then the escalation of this murderer who basically is kind of blackmailing her in a way, and then you don't know who this guy is. Who's hired somebody to basically follow her around. What is he trying? Kevin Bacon's role is what?
He is a private detective that was hired to track her down, and somebody wanted to meet up with her.
Right.
And he won't say who his employer is, but they have dirt on her. Basically, all the events from X, right? Or at least that's what we can sort of conceive from it, but we don't know for sure because I don't think they actually reveal what exactly they had.
Well, we are watching the movie from our perspective, and you see the killer, and you see him trying to get her to do something, and then the killer, whoever's killing all these women around her, are doing the same thing. They're trying to get her to do something.
Right.
But she doesn't want to do either. I don't know if there's like a message there or whatever. It's like direct over here, and she's like, no, go fuck yourself, people die. No, go over here. No, fuck yourself, people die. So it's like her choice to be in the situation that she's going to be in at the end.
She's taking control of her life, and we do see her take that control because, again, she will not accept a life that she doesn't deserve.
That's right. I'm the only one that's not going to fucking quote that. I promise I won't do it. Oh my God. But that's the great, these are so many like things in the movie that I saw as a horror fan and be like, fuck yeah. Like what did you brought up? The angel connection. Somebody brought it up. And
there's
I don't know how much of that apart, but it's a revenge movie.
Yeah. There's so many connections. Like while I was watching it, from other movies, a lot of De Palma in there.
Oh yeah,
like as me being a huge Body Double fan as I am, the club scene whenever like right before the crushing scene,
another crushing scene
when they're walking through the club, that's just straight out of Body Double. Like they even use the same band, like Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah,
that's the same band, except in this one they're using Welcome to the Pleasure Dome.
Yep,
which. That whole part I was watching, and I was like, "Oh man, I love this. Is so good." Like just because all that is just a shorter, more compressed version from Body Double. They're not playing "Relax, Don't Do It."
Yeah, I know.
But like that, kind of from there, there's definitely a scene that I was watching, and I was like, "Oh man, they're doing a Taxi Driver," where they're in the Hollywood sign, the helicopter's over, then it kind of goes and like. To her eyes, and then it's like, oh, everything worked out perfect. And I was like, oh man, I was like, they're not going to Taxi Driver the end of this movie, are they? And like, just like, and then like it cuts back. Finally, I was like, oh, okay, good. I was like, but I thought it was going to end like right there, and I was like, oh, please don't end like this.
There's so many influences that we should like talk about things that you caught. Besides that, like I keep referring to like De Palma, Fulci, even Bava. I mean, it's obviously a giallo. This is a giallo fucking movie from the very beginning. I mean, the guy, the person that we don't know who it is at the time, looks just like the killer from Blood and Black Lace. Where's the hat, everything.
Oh yeah, he's sitting in that when he puts his like quarter, which I feel is pretty cheap to see a peep show, but when she puts that coin in there and like sees the peep show, and all you see is like those leather gloves
with the
and like the leather
tops.
jacket and the zipper, and it's like you just hear like the leather like
it's a very Italian thing.
And doing it, I'm just like, oh yes, this is awesome. Like I just love any leather clad glove like in a horror movie.
Also, for reference, in 1984, you could probably buy like a hamburger for $0.25. So.
Oh well, yeah.
Peep show or hamburger? Which one is
hamburger,
it?
naked woman, same thing.
I'll starve for some titties back then,
But
yeah.
Yes, the leather bound killer was definitely a favorite of mine as well.
Are we going to spoil what the killer is?
We're going to spoil everything. I'd like to talk about some of the cast if you guys have any notes on that.
Well, I already talked about my favorite one.
Okay.
The video store guy.
Well, you've got Elizabeth Debicki from The Puritan. She's from The Puritan. She's directing The Puritan too, but she was in like she's in Marvel movies. She's in all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. She's in Great Gatsby as Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean,
she was great as being like that kind of just headstrong director type.
Very cold.
Where they're like, they're just like, listen, we're going to make this movie. We're here making films. Like it's just.
She's also trying to go from porn, being a porn director, to what she's these Puritan movies, which are all made by Friday the 13th Part 5 people.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I got Michelle. Was it in Monaghan?
Moynihan.
Okay, Michelle Moynihan as Detective Williams, and then you've got Bobby Carnival as Detective Torres.
Oh yeah,
that was hilarious.
I loved him, and like
they're them playing off each other.
Yeah, that was great. And then just every time when he's like trying to get her to like get something to like flip or give information to him, and then it's like Maxine will just walk off, and she's like, "God, this is why you never made it as an actor." He's like, "That's the best you got," or whatever.
Like, what I do?
He's like, "What?
What I say?"
I don't know, like that. Every time that guy shows up in any movie or TV show or something, I'm just like, I love it. He always kind of plays that same character.
Yeah, he's like the stepdad in Ant-Man, and he's from Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah,
I think he was in that, wasn't he? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in that film or in that television show as like their rival drug lord trying to take over the boardwalk. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you've got Halsey that plays Tabby. She's one of the porn star and the victims. You've got Lily Collins, who's Phil Collins' daughter. She was what's her face from the Ted Bundy movie with Efron.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And
one of the wives.
Well, his love of his life, who basically he mentally tortures. So that's the whole in real life, but in the movie, to the point where at the end she's just trying to like, let me go, Ted. That's her. She's great in this movie. Larry Fessenden is the security guard. Larry Fessenden created Glass Eye Pick, so he did like Habit and Wendigo, and he's in Barbara Crampton. Or he's been producing a lot of stuff for like with Barbara Crampton and stuff. So that kind of stuff I love. So.
I think a lot of people's bigger complaints was I saw a few reviews where they were like, "Oh man, thank God Halsey was only in it for that one scene." But I think she played the character she was supposed to play well. I mean, she's not like a traditional actor or whatever, but it was definitely kind of like, "Hey, I'm a streetwalker," like that kind of thing.
It was cool that he cast a lot of different people. It was Moses Sumney, the guy who plays the video clerk.
Yeah.
Leon the clerk.
Leon.
Yeah, fucking great. And of course, I'm just enjoying the character, and Katie's like, no, he's a gay character too. So it's like even more layered.
But I love that they didn't he's not explicitly gay. It's just kind of one line where she mentions something about like her loving him in like a best friend kind of way. He's like, yeah, because I'm the only man that doesn't want to fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're my best friend.
Yeah. But I like that you can have a homosexual character that isn't like, let's all talk about how gay he is and make him like flamboyant. Like, no, that's just part of who he is. It's just part of the character.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Having this set during the Satanic Panic, I mean, they do knock you over the head with that. They talk about it constantly. Everyone's, there are a few things. What are the negatives of this movie to you?
Negatives.
What are things you didn't like, or just like, okay, we get it? Like mine was like the drug thing. I was like, okay, I get it. Everybody's doing this, the snowman.
My only negative is the wrap up at the end. It felt like almost a different movie.
So yeah, it's the Satanic Panic, and then we finally find out that it's her fucking dad.
Yes.
So you barely see him in X,
and he was watching her strip
the whole time.
Yeah,
he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
It was I wonder how he felt. He probably would have wanted a hamburger instead of that strip show.
That's why he was gripping his hands so tight in those leather gloves.
He's like, I'm not masturbating. Oh, yeah. So we find out it's him, and he's got a whole cult of like satanic worshipers that have been branding all of these, I guess the women of the night.
Yeah, the people that they're killing. They're bringing them up to the place in Hollywood Hills that you have to take a fucking gondola to get up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like Bohemian Grove, kind of like that whole thing going on.
That's a body double thing. Because in Body Double,
you're right.
He lives in that big bubble house or whatever in the Hollywood Hills, and there's like a special like little train that takes you up to it. Yep. And I was watching that, I was like, Body Double again.
We've got to fucking do a whole episode.
Everywhere.
If you have to get to somebody's front door by riding a special, like a train or a gondola, you're probably going to either have a wonderful time or you're going to die.
Yeah, because you're going to be trapped.
The proper term for that vehicle is a funicular or funicula.
Funicular.
Well, don't try to correct us unless you're ready yourself to do it.
Well, it's one of those.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh man, yeah, I love that. I love that whole ending. So let's talk about the ending then.
Well, see, I didn't like it as much because you got the father. It's all like, oh, you're the devil, and we're gonna convert you back to, because it's again the satanic panic and trying to bring her back to God.
It's like her dad is like Alex Jones.
Yeah,
and he's like, we're gonna make a movie exposing the satanic Hollywood, the elite, and all this stuff. Like, which that happened back then. You also have that now, like we were saying earlier, but. Talk about things we didn't like real quick. Definitely the part where it kind of has to flash back and show you, like you were saying, where it's, oh God, remember all these girls said they were going to a party, and you're like, yes, I do remember that. You don't have to tell me again. Like I'm not a dummy.
I put it together because you were trying to get me to put it together, and I put it together. So here we are.
I figured it out. Like you don't have to tell me again. Like here we are. But yeah, that was probably my only complaint.
The end feels like a different movie. It's like all right, we're in this giallo slasher, and then it turns into fucking Commando.
Yeah, I even said that in the theater.
Pulling out sawed-off shotguns from underneath those robes, like they just had those under there the whole time.
Like where were the Uzis? This was 1980s. Oh yeah, everybody had an Uzi,
especially if you're like Miami, but they're not. But who cares? It's it's the California Miami.
But I didn't think it was like bad. It wasn't a deal breaker for me. There's this giant shootout, and everybody's dying now, and people are getting shot, people are crawling away, which I appreciated that. Like people get shot and they weren't necessarily dead right away.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I got shot once and I'm just fucking no. The will to live is going to make you keep going.
Yeah.
Adrenaline.
And
all that fucking cocaine.
All that cocaine. See, that's what I'm thinking. It's like the Scarface in it. He's not dead.
Well, and at the very end, she's cutting her cocaine with her SAG card, which I think is fantastic.
Oh, and I love that.
Yeah, you're watching the character from X become who she thinks that she deserves to be.
At the end of that, when she's like cutting the coke with her SAG card. I was like, oh, nice. She has health insurance now. Good for her.
Hey, just like,
you're going to need it.
Just like Frank Henenlotter with Frankenhooker. He got all those hookers' health insurance. Man. He got him SAG cards.
Okay. Simon Pratt plays her father, Ernest Miller, but that was the only thing I was like, okay, it's probably going to be your dad, and I didn't like that.
Yeah,
I guess it makes sense, but I really wanted it like to be hardcore giallo, where you're like, oh shit,
like it's a huge
it's the video clerk the whole time, something like that.
It was Pearl.
I'm glad you brought
100.
that up. So the original ending to this was supposed to have like a supernatural slant where Pearl actually makes an appearance. And then Ty West cut it out.
Good.
Now, I don't know if that was filmed or if that was just part of the script part, but I'm not wrong on that because I double checked, but I don't remember if I didn't make a note on whether it was filmed or not, if it was just part of the script. And he was like, let's just keep it grounded in reality. She's satanic cults in Hollywood.
She's like a force ghost. She's like Pearl.
Force ghost Pearl.
I will always be here with you.
And she's definitely not wearing clothes. It's just old titties in the wind.
I was going to say, it's going to be the old crib. Don't fuck it up like George Lucas and having all of a sudden young.
Yeah, we're not going to replace young.
They're making a fourth one. And the fourth one, make her like young again all of a sudden for no reason, or a different actress playing young Pearl. Lucas this shit.
Lucas this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ty West said depending on the success of MaXXXine, whether he's going to make another one, and he said he's already in the middle of writing it. So, boom.
Well, it's great because, nobody's beating Despicable Me 4 right now.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately.
That's not good.
But, you know, that's okay because there are other horror films out right now, and that makes me excited. But back to MaXXXine, I think the end was good. One thing I really did like about the movie, though, now, I didn't like it and I liked it. The movie felt really short. And I don't know whether that was due to like good editing, or good story. Like it just felt short. Like I wanted a little bit more. And at the end of it, I was just like, oh man. But that's good because you never want to watch one of those movies. You know, you're talking about the Italian, like the Giallo movies.
Right.
Some of those are just too fucking long.
They are.
Yeah.
And the pacing of those movies is very something. Like the pacing of this movie is very similar to those films. So maybe he thought the current audience wasn't going to just sit there for 2 hours while he's telling a good story.
Well, I feel like most movies, I feel like 2 hours is like, oh, that's kind of a short movie now because we're used to these 3.5 hour movies. This one comes in at like just under an hour and 45 minutes, which for me, especially for a horror, I think is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yes, but like I said, it just felt like once it was over, it was just like, oh wait, this is over. We're at the end of the movie, and it just didn't feel like it took that long. The movie was paced great, though.
So I was gonna say, do you feel cheated? Do you think that the story wasn't told completely, or do you think? I mean, he didn't make it seem like it's a cliffhanger, so I didn't feel cheated that way. But how do you feel?
Rushed.
Like, what do you mean?
Rushed.
Okay, yeah.
At the end,
you think the third act was just a big rush?
Yeah, I think maybe they could have drawn out a little bit. Maybe I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Some people might think it's perfect.
Maybe whenever he did take out the supernatural element at the end, he was just like, "Well, now what am I going to do?"
I mean, what would fucking Pearl just bust through like
what she busts
like fucking Slimer, just hot dogs in her mouth?
I'll save you, Maxine.
But would she save her? No, she wouldn't.
Oh yeah, she wouldn't.
No.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
maybe she would like team up with Dad.
Would the supernatural aspect be Pearl taking over her dad or Pearl taking over
possession.
MaXXXine? Like the real possession. He thought she had the devil in her. No, she just, murdered a few people.
So now I'm trying to figure out what they're going to name the fourth one. Possession with 3 S's? What?
Why?
Fuck you guys.
They should just name it Why.
You should be in Hollywood.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. This guy smells like farts and looks like fucking Yoda. I don't think we want to hire him.
It'll be Pearl with 3 L's.
We know what you're typing.
Pearl.
Oh, God. So Kentucky. Oh, my God. Ace, do you have anything that you didn't like about this movie?
I did at the end of it.
As
where
a matter of fact, Steve.
I was like, well, at the end of it, like I said, it did feel like you understand. It did feel kind of rushed, but it was like an hour and 40 minutes though. So, but I still wanted more after it was over, which I think is a good thing. I wasn't like ready for it to be over. Like, when's this thing going to end? Like, come on, like, but I did like the end of it, and I mentioned earlier while we were talking how it inadvertently made me a fan of the song Betty Davis Eyes, because like the credits start rolling over her like fake disembodied head on the bed, and she's like, "I just never want this to end."
Right,
it's like,
right.
She's got Betty Davis eyes, and I was like, "Oh man, I love it."
I kind of didn't like that only because I love that movie Final Girls, where they use Betty Davis eyes pretty prominently.
That's pretty much that's to me that's the go-to movie for that.
Yeah, like when I hear that song, I think of that movie now, and it is like actually a really touching moment that always makes me cry when I watch that movie. It's so sweet. It's her mom. And,
we showed that at the Gore Club, and a grown man was like, "You're making me cry, Steve."
It's a very touching moment. So then that kind of took me out of the end of MaXXXine a little bit because I was like, I feel like it's such a prominent use of that song in Final Girls, but overall, I still loved MaXXXine. And yeah, like you said, it was kind of rushed, but it still left me wanting more, which I enjoyed. It didn't drag on in any way, I don't think, which I feel like some movies, especially, like I said, with these long-ass movies these days, you're just kind of like, oh my God, I get it. Get through it.
Oh, God. We watched this movie, The Resort. They got a lot of good reviews. I think it was last night. And I'm like, when are we going to do anything in this movie?
When are we going to get to the resort?
Yeah.
There was a part where I was like, was this Jason fucking goes to Manhattan or takes Manhattan again?
And it was a very like low budget movie, but I'd heard it was good in terms of like low budget fun horror, but I was just like, holy shit.
It wasn't fun at all, man.
No.
It wasn't fun at all.
Not
That's
great.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. It was a very unfortunate movie.
But again, like I said, I agree with Ace and Katie there. It felt rushed, but the overall pacing was good.
Yeah.
And I wanted more. So those are good things.
Those are good things.
It's a negative and a positive.
How did you feel about the very, very ending when she's actually going to her premiere, or is I forget? That's not an illusion. That's like actually happening.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then she has the exact same face as she has in Pearl, where she's like just smiling, like,
Yeah.
holy wow. So she looks like friggin' Marilyn Monroe, and tell me about the ending. How do you feel
Her
about that?
dreams have come true, and she didn't let her past negatively affect her.
Yeah.
Even though it did end up coming out, and it actually kind of helped. It's that whole idea of like no press is bad press. Like, oh, you did murder a woman back in the day, and America still loves you.
We got to market this.
Yeah. Which is a little fucked up, but that's America.
Oh, whatever. Everybody had a Freddie glove as a kid. Come on now.
I mean, Ronald Reagan was president, and his wife blew everybody on the set. And we all knew that.
Oh, the 80s.
Good press.
Yeah, good press.
But overall, I think MaXXXine is a fantastic movie, and I like this whole franchise, and I'm waiting for the next one.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool to see what happens if he crushes somebody again.
Yeah.
Just to make a note of that. Go back and start watching some of his movies. No, I did actually try to find more crushing. And
MaXXXine 2 Crusher.
yeah, I don't.
Let's put bids on what body part will get crushed in the next one.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we had a whole body get crushed in this one.
Well, yeah.
I'm thinking like a mammogram going wrong.
Oh, God, no.
What?
Oh, yeah. Now you know how it felt when we watched somebody's balls get smashed.
I mean, I guess that would be fair, but goddamn.
Yeah. So, I mean, what was the last thing you talked about? Like what you didn't like about, what was it, Mia Goth? Go ahead. I forgot.
Oh, no. It's just like, I don't really see a lot of interviews with Mia Goth, and I didn't realize that she was like British or something. What is she? Where is she from?
She's not from Australia.
She's got a really thick accent, and I was like, oh shit! I knew she wasn't like a redneck.
No, she was born in London, but I think it's her mother is Brazilian and her dad's Canadian.
Right.
So she's kind of like Anya Taylor-Joy, where it's like a whole mix of shit in there.
Lots of different places.
Yeah, it's like
as Highlander would say.
Oh, fuck Highlander.
I knew you would say that.
But it creates a very odd accent.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
it's very interesting because it was one of those. I was like, oh well, I just guess I didn't really pay attention and be like, oh well, she's not from America. That's how easily I'm fooled, Steve.
Typical stupid American.
Yeah, typical stupid. But yeah, I did see a video where she showed up for one of the premieres, and it was weird because like people already had that MaXXXine costume on during the premiere. And I'm like, where'd y'all see this? Because I avoid trailers like the plague. I'm like, cool, they're bringing out this movie. Don't need to know anything about it.
I'm the opposite. I dig into everything almost. I've always been that way.
I like going in blind.
So yeah,
not knowing
that's cool.
anything.
Well, but even then, it's even better experience if I'm getting surprised by something. I don't like a trailer that shows me every fucking thing. Like the new Alien Romulus, or people are like, oh, it's already going to be awful. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It looks great. But I do like to dig into everything that I can find. I don't like to know the endings, but I'm pretty good at avoiding those. But I like to know about, the actors and the filmmakers and whoever's doing all the lighting and the costumes. And
I don't give a shit.
so like when it comes to cosplaying, like, it kind of comes natural sometimes.
I just, you can just be like, hey, Nicolas Cage is in this movie. It's like, sold.
Sold.
Is it a horror film? Yes, I'll watch it this weekend.
Is he Nick Cage?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, this one, Ty West, Mia Goth, they are like Scorsese and De Niro, I guess.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Angela Bettis and and Lucky McKay, it's like that teaming up. So it's cool. I'm a fan. I like this movie a lot. So I'm glad you guys do too.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, we all agree on something for once.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah, it was weird when we got out of the theater. I was waiting for Steve to be like, I don't know, I don't think I liked it. I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Not at all, man. I was into everything that I could see all the influences, and I dug all of them, and I didn't feel like I was just being like knocked over the head, except for a couple of things. But most of all the influences. I love that stuff. That's why I love, Spielberg movies and Tarantino films and Robert Rodriguez and all those people, because they have their influences. They're not afraid to hide them. They're not like, this one, Eli Roth, I stole this shot from Fellini.
Yeah.
And I dig that. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. Are we done?
I think we are done. So
what's the question of the night, Dave? God damn it.
if you had to choose one of your body parts to be crushed, which would it be?
Oh.
Oh no! It all
Ramifications.
hurts.
There are ramifications because if it's crushed, it's gone.
It all hurts. Oh no! Like a pinky toe, maybe?
No, we can't do toes or fingers.
Toes or fingers.
No toes or fingers. It's got to be a body part.
What about my left hand?
Left hand? Yeah, that works.
I actually had all of the bones in my left hand crushed when I was 5. So can I do that again?
Yeah. Sure.
I don't wanna. Okay, fuck it. I'll say my left hand. I can do without that.
You guys are weird. I'd go with a fucking foot or something. I get a fucking peg leg. I can get one of those like little boomerang things that they wear in the Special Olympics when they run.
Foot.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Yeah.
Jump higher.
Yeah.
Run faster.
Little springs.
Little Oscar Pistorius.
Yeah.
Bionic Dave, Death Metal Dave.
$6
over
million Dave.
I'm just saying. Or give me a fucking peg leg. I don't know.
We can rebuild him.
Yeah, that's right.
Dave used to throw pirate parties back in the day, and I used to go, so that fits.
Yeah, I could just get a fucking peg leg. I could still use both of my hands.
I don't know. I remember one time I passed out standing up, and I woke up at Denny's or something.
No, it was Jerry's.
Jerry's. True story. Somebody showed up with like, what was that? Like old school. What's the green fairy
Absinthe.
shit? Absinthe, and it was real at the time.
Yeah,
Back
they got it. They brought it back from Russia.
Yeah, and boy,
Oh,
we were doing
God.
shots, and I woke up at Jerry's.
Get some of that spaghetti.
Ordering food. So I wasn't sleeping. I was just like not there.
We could have crushed Steve's hand that night.
Yeah. I wouldn't have felt a thing.
So everybody's going to be left hand, and I'll be the guy with just 1 foot.
This is
Your
disgusting.
shoes look stupid for the rest of your life.
Whatever. I'll have a robotic foot. I don't need it.
Get us out of here, Dave.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody who's listening. And you can find us on where you're listening to us, Facebook, Anchor FM, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Verbal.com, YouTube,
Yeah, and the Facebooky.
and Facebook. I said that.
I know.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Gore Club. This is the Gore Club podcast with Steve Vessell, Ace, and Deathmetal Dave.